Late night bites with friends, already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
There are 3 victims we know of.
The suspect is female, white, late 20s.
Female serial killers kill for power, control.
I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, and you are gonna end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. For bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
As we got closer, a putrid smell filled the air. I looked into the grass and could see the object. It was coated in flies.
He told me that he was on his way to my house to eat me. I heard a car pull into the driveway.
My friend had his flashlight out when we both stopped, frozen in our tracks. From high in the trees, we heard what sounded like a woman wailing.
From killer podcasts, true tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. In our first story, late-night transportation almost turns into one girl's nightmare. Narrated by Kaye Burgh from Reddit user Girl with a Tattoo Heart. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror.
So this happened April 7th, 2022, after Our Lady Peace concert in Vancouver. I was 19 at the time and went to the concert with my friend who was 21. We arrived together but left separately because we were taking different transit routes home. The concert was great, and when it ended, my friend went to get some merch. I knew the lines from the buses were going to be really long, so I told her I was going to wait in line for the bus, and she told me that she'd find me to say goodbye. I was standing there minding my own business when an older man approached me and started talking to me. He told me how he had come from the island just for the concert because he is such a big fan and he was staying at a hotel downtown for the night, and blah, 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 blah. I was very dismissive of him because I didn't want to engage with him. I was hoping he would take the hint, but he didn't. Thankfully, my friend found me. She showed me the shirt she got and stood in line with me for a little bit until her bus arrived. We ignored the man pretty hard and he left us alone. He began talking to other girls in line about the concert and how much he loves OLP. When my friend's bus came, she left me alone again. The man decided this was the perfect time to start talking to me again. He asked me if I wanted to go wait with him at the other bus stop, as it will probably be less busy and we would actually get seats on the bus. I politely declined and started to look at my phone. When the bus finally came, he made sure we were stuck standing next to each other, and I could feel his stare on me the whole time, though he talked to other random young girls about the concert. Now and then I felt him brush up against me like it was an accident, but I know it wasn't. This was the longest bus ride of my life. A few stops later, the bus was less crowded and I overheard 2 young women speaking Spanish. Spanish is my native tongue, so I built up the courage to casually talk to them and let them know that I was worried because this man was making me uncomfortable. They noticed how he was watching me despite talking to other girls. They noticed how weird he looked. They felt the same discomfort I felt. These two lovely women were a mother and daughter who had gone to the concert together, and were staying at a hotel downtown too. They told me to stay with them until we had to part ways. Finally, we arrived at the train station. Here, there are two platforms. The top one goes south, while the bottom one goes north. The ladies and I were going north. I was totally relieved when the man walked towards the south side. At this point, I thought maybe I had overreacted and he wasn't even following me at all. However, a minute later, I watched him come down the escalator. At first, he acted like it was just a coincidence, but then he came closer to me and the ladies. He lingered nearby and watched us with his gaze locked on me. I knew I had to act fast because the ladies and I would be getting off at different stops, and the one that I would get off was further away and more secluded. So much ran through my mind as the breeze of the subway filled the tunnel. I made eye contact with him as the train came to a stop, and the doors opened. I dared him to enter. He didn't go in right away. He waited for me. I stepped into the train with the ladies, and once he saw I had gone inside, he entered through the other car door. He entered without losing sight of me. He stood down the hall of the train with his eyes locked on me. I knew if I stayed on the train a second longer, it would be harder to escape. So, when the bell chimed, warning that the train doors were about to shut, I sprinted out the door and onto the platform. By this time, he realized I had gotten out, and it was too late for him to exit the train. I stood on the platform, unable to breathe as I watched the train slowly drive away. He watched me through the window and gave me an angry look. He had a wild look in his eyes, and he stared me down while the train left the station. It was so intense that I got chills. Free of the man, but still a little shaken, I hopped on the next train that came, and thankfully, I made it home safe that night. I tried to find the women who helped me so I could thank them. Without them, I don't know what would have happened during that short time between the bus and the train, but I totally believe they were my guardian angels.
When we were kids, summer meant freedom. No homework, no teachers, no school. And as adults, summer still means freedom thanks to Mint Mobile's summer sale. Right now, all of Mint's plans are $15 per month, even unlimited. I love Mint. I use it for my family of 6 and constantly tell people switching to Mint has been the best decision I've made in the past 10 years. My budget is a lot happier too. I'm easily saving a couple $1,000s a year compared to my old provider. Mint gives you the freedom to take your phone and phone number with you and the freedom to choose a 3, 6, or 12-month plan. So free yourself from big wireless and their gimmicks and gotchas and switch to Mint for high-speed data and coverage on the T-Mobile 5G network. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's mintmobile.com/disturbed. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabyte hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. August is the perfect time to hit reset before the autumn rush begins. And honestly, I can't think of a better place to start than my closet. That's why I love shopping at Quince. Every day that I go into the office, I choose to wear something from Quince. I know that I will be comfortable all day long, not to mention I'll look good too. My personal favorites are their cotton tees and their 100% linen trousers. Quince is all about fewer, better pieces. Their clothes are made with premium materials built to last and designed to become the ones you reach for day after day. And it's not just clothing. Quince has become my go-to for everything from hotel-quality bedding to bath essentials to premium cookware and travel must-haves. Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/disturbed. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns, now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed. Do you believe in monsters under your bed? Narrated by Lily Fawzey from Reddit user Federal Chemical 7736.
When I was around 7 or 8 years old, I shared a bedroom with my twin sister. We loved being in the same room, and many nights we stayed up goofing off or chatting all night. Our beds were directly across the room from each other, so we could easily see other ones sleeping. One night, we went out with our mom and older siblings. I think we went to see a movie, and when we got home, it was around 10 p.m. and bedtime. We did our usual nighttime ritual. We got our jammies on, then brushed our teeth and hair. I remember I had my mom French braid my hair because I wanted it to be wavy for school the next day. We laid in bed talking for a little bit, probably about the movie or what boys we were crushing on. Suddenly, my sister looked freaked out and she gave me the quiet symbol, holding her finger up to her mouth. I mouthed the word, "what?" and we were both quiet, listening. I didn't hear anything, but she told me that she heard scraping and pointed under my bed. I looked around, but all I saw were a few pairs of my shoes and darkness. I motioned to her that I didn't see anything. That's when she froze. She stopped moving and talking, her eyes open wide. I scampered over and jumped into bed with her. I whispered and asked her what was wrong. Whispering back, she said that we had to be brave and run to our mom's room. Now I was freaked out. She pointed under my bed and whispered that we had to be brave because there was a monster looking at her from underneath my bed. I turned away from her and looked into the dark void that was beneath my bed. But this time, I could feel it there too. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it watching us. We counted to 10 quietly, then ran as fast as our little legs could take us to our mom's room. As we stood in the doorway crying and hyperventilating, telling her about the monster, a man ran past us, down the hallway, through the kitchen, and slammed the door, escaping out the back of our house. The man had broken in while we were out and hidden under my bed when he heard us come home. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my sister never had sensed him under my bed.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, listeners. A mysterious man throws something from his trunk. But what could it be? Narrated by Cormac Brennan. Reddit user Coochie Bug.
I live in a small town in Eastern Europe. It's a really nice place to live where everyone knows each other and it's a really safe place to raise your family. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never experienced anything weird like I did a few days ago. Me and my friend like to go to a nearby cornfield to watch the sunset. There's a trail that goes along the cornfield, and people are constantly walking, jogging, riding bikes on the trail, and enjoying the scenery. There are big boulders that are placed at various places along the trail, and that's where we were perched, looking at the sky and talking. All of a sudden, a black Volkswagen car passed by on the main, its engine loud and rumbling, then erratically turned onto the cornfield trail. The trail is big enough for cars, but you're not really supposed to drive on it. The car drove about 300 feet, then pulled next to a patch of tall wild grass near a tree. Even though he was down the way, we could see his every move. He was a stranger, not someone we've seen in our little town before, and everything about him was suspicious. Things got even weirder. He got out of the car and looked out into the cornfield, and then next to him in the grass, and then he went to his trunk and opened it. He looked around to see if anyone was watching him, which we were, but he must not have noticed us. Then he pulled something out of the trunk. It was black and seemed to be about the length of an arm. We could hear the sound of metal clinking around in his trunk as he pulled the object out. He took one last look at the object, and flung it into the tall patch of grass where it wouldn't easily be seen or found. Then he closed the trunk, got in his car, and drove down the path and back onto the main road, going in the direction he came from. Once the car was gone, we waited a few minutes to make sure it wasn't coming back. Our curiosity got the better of us. We walked down the trail towards the tall grass. As we got closer, a putrid smell filled the air. I looked into the grass and could see the object. It was coated in flies. The sound of them buzzing was deafening. The smell of something rotten became too much for me to handle. Before we left, I took a photo of the thing. We analyzed the photo, but it was so hard to tell what it was. We decided to believe that it was just a dead animal that the man needed to get rid of, or something like that. As we were making our way home, the putrid, rotten smell got worse. We walked past another tree and the smell was also there. We looked around but didn't see anything obvious. We continued on our way along the cornfield trail, but the smell seemed to pop up in random places. We started to wonder if the man had dropped animal or maybe even human body parts along the trail. We watched the news to see if anyone else reported seeing or smelling anything, but it didn't seem like it. We decided to stay away from the field for a while. And a few days later, when we went back, there was nothing. Whatever it was gone. We'll never know what the black thing really was or where that man was from, but it was the most suspicious thing that's ever happened in our town. Even to this day.
When we were kids, summer meant freedom. No homework, no teachers, no school. And as adults, summer still means freedom thanks to Mint Mobile's summer sale. Right now, all of Mint's plans are $15 per month, even unlimited. I love Mint. I use it for my family of 6 and constantly tell people switching to Mint has been the best decision I've made in the past 10 years. My budget is a lot happier too. I'm easily saving a couple $1,000s a year compared to my old provider. Mint gives you the freedom to take your phone and phone number with you and the freedom to choose a 3, 6, or 12-month plan. So free yourself from big wireless and their gimmicks and gotchas and switch to Mint for high-speed data and coverage on the T-Mobile 5G network. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's mintmobile.com/disturbed. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabyte hotspot capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. An unknown predator takes a bite out of his prey. Narrated by Bree Mignano from Reddit user Dolly Eli.
A few years ago, when I was 14, I started to get text messages from an unknown number. At first, I played around with him a little, saying things like, "You're so mysterious," and calling him my secret admirer. But then he started to tell me extremely personal things about myself, and this made me very uncomfortable. I tried to find out his name, or where he lived, or any information really, but he evaded these questions every time. I tried to be stern with him, and I told him he was invading my privacy and that he shouldn't know such things about me. He told me I had no privacy when it came to him, that he knew everything about me. He even knew my every move. Instead of uncomfortable, I was now totally creeped out, and I felt very threatened. I started to ignore his text messages and hoped that he would just go away. But he would still text me just about every day. he wouldn't take the hint. I continued to ignore him, so he started to apologize. He told me he was sorry if he said anything that bothered me, and he wouldn't let it go. I wanted the last word, so I told him he was invading my privacy and I wasn't okay with it. And then I blocked him and totally forgot about him. About 3 months later, I got a phone call from an unknown number. When I answered it, it turned out to be him. It really scared me, and I hung up immediately. He started calling again, over and over. I put my phone on silent so that I could ignore the calls. Then things started disappearing from my room. At first, I just thought I'd misplaced some things. Like my favorite perfume disappeared. I looked all over and I couldn't find it anywhere. My new pajamas I'd only worn twice were suddenly not on the bed where I always left them. Next, my favorite dress was suddenly missing. Then things accelerated. My underwear drawer was completely emptied, and my diary was gone. When I got home from school, my room had been ransacked, even though I cleaned it up every morning. All of this went on for months, and I started to wonder if I was going crazy. Then, my phone went missing. I thought for sure I'd just left it at school, but the next day, it wasn't in my locker, and no one had seen it. When I got home that day, I found my phone lying on my bed like it had been there the whole time. I was relieved because I thought I'd lost it, and my parents would have been mad, but I was also a little scared. How did it get there? I immediately opened Instagram and started to chat with my friends like I always do. Then I received a message from an unknown person. It was him. He told me that I was talking to boys too much, and I told him they were my friends, that it was none of his business, and then I blocked him, just like I had before. I went about the rest of my day. That night, I opened Instagram again, and this time, my account was banned. I created 3 new accounts, 1 main and 2 backups. None of them had my name or photo, but somehow he always found me. He kept sending me messages telling me to stop talking to boys. I kept blocking the accounts that he was sending the messages from. One by one, all of my accounts were banned. I stopped using Insta and started using Snapchat, Facebook, and TikTok. He found me on those apps too. He sent me many messages on Snapchat. I tried to tell him to stop. Then I tried to talk to him, to appease him. He told me he wanted to eat me. I told him that wasn't how you complimented a girl, especially a young one. He said he wasn't complimenting me, that it was true. He wanted to eat me. I began to notice there was a person following me. He would always stay back away from me so that I couldn't see his face, but he was always there. On my way to school, on my way home, if I went to dance or to a friend's house, he was always watching me. One day, I decided to skip school because I didn't want him to follow me. I looked outside to see if he was outside, but I don't think he was there. I was afraid to leave because of him. Then he called me. I was home alone and he knew it. I told him to leave me alone and that I would tell the police and my parents if he did not stop, and that this was a dirty act on his part. He told me that he was on his way to my house to eat me. I hoped he was lying, but about 20 minutes later, I heard a car pull into the driveway. Since I didn't know who he was, I didn't know for sure it was him. But I wasn't taking any chances. I ran and hid deep in the back of my parents' closet. I could hear his footsteps walking around near our bedrooms. I was sure he was looking for me. I was so terrified that I felt dizzy and lightheaded. I didn't know whether I fainted or fell asleep. But when I woke up, my parents had just gotten home. The next day, I woke up with bloody bites on my side and shoulder. I panicked so much that I threw up, and I tried to treat and bandage myself. They weren't deep bites, but they were painful and burning. I wore long sleeves to school that day, but I did show a few of my friends. They convinced me to tell my parents what happened, and I did. After that, I never saw or heard from that man again. I still don't know who he is.
Even though the fish weren't biting, they caught more than they bargained for. Narrated by Sinn, from Reddit user LunchFrosty1879.
I'm an outdoorsman. I love to fish and hunt, and so does my friend. We go fishing together a lot, and we know the rivers really well that are near where we live. A few weeks ago, we went fishing together, but we only caught one fish total, so we decided to go back to the same spot. It's right off the road, under a bridge, and really easy to get to. A lot of people fish there. It was raining off and on, and we weren't catching anything, so my buddy told me he had another spot where he'd had a lot of luck. It was right across the street from where we were, and he said it was a secret spot that no one knew about. It started to rain consistently, and it was getting dark. We weren't catching anything where we were, so I agreed to go there. We gathered our gear and walked across the road into the woods. As soon as we were in the trees, I started to feel weird. I don't know how to describe it, but I could feel my heartbeat quicken. And ultimately, I'd say I felt scared. At the time, I blamed it on the setting. You know, dark, lightning, and rain in a dense forest. It creeps you out, right? We hiked for about 15 minutes. Then we got to the spot. It was on a bend in the river with an open sandbar on lower ground. We waded out to the sandbar and got set up. We were completely in the wide open where we were standing. We took a few casts, and I still didn't catch anything. Suddenly, there was a huge flash of lightning with the loudest crack of thunder I'd ever heard. We decided it was time to get out of there. We agreed to do 2 more casts, just to see if we could catch one fish. And when I did, I got another weird feeling. I was still on edge from earlier when we hiked in, but this feeling was different. I got a shiver down my spine, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. At first, I thought it was from the lightning, but the feeling wouldn't go away. It felt like we were being watched. I reeled in my line and said, "Nope, sorry man, I'm out of here. I just got, a bad feeling right now." At first, my friend didn't feel it, but he said, "Yeah, something doesn't feel right." I looked around frantically. What I was looking for, I'm not sure, but I didn't see anything. I told him that we really need to get out of there fast. We started to pack up rapidly, but calmly. The rain started coming down even harder, which made it even eerier. We were putting on our hiking boots when another surge of dread ran through my body. I freaked out. I'd never, in my whole life, felt fear like that. My heart started racing again, and I was breathing super fast. We decided to walk side by side, and that we wouldn't run if anything happened, in case it was a predator like a bear. We picked up our tackle boxes and walked up the bank. My friend had his flashlight out when we both stopped, frozen in our tracks. From high in the trees, we heard what sounded like a woman wailing. I whispered, "What was that?" My friend asked, "Did you hear that too?" All I could do was nod my head. He quickly turned off his flashlight, and we slowly started to walk together. As we were walking through the dark, dense, and rainy forest, the wailing seemed to be moving around us. Sometimes it sounded like it was in front of us. Other times, like it was walking along with us. I started to panic. I thought for sure we were done for. I looked behind us, expecting to see something. There was nothing there. Then, when we were about halfway to the road, the wailing stopped. But now we heard something in the bushes ahead of us. My friend and I stopped on a dime, and I've never been more still in my life. A creature ran across the path in front of us. It was deer-like in its color, but it was smaller. Didn't have a white tail like the other deer in our area, and it didn't move like one either. We had no idea what we'd just seen. Super scared, we kept walking to our cars. As we got to the tree line by the road, I had to stop, because honestly, I was terrified and was short of breath. My buddy said, "I don't feel safe standing right here." My friend isn't really the type to say something like that. He's kind of the type to be like, "Men aren't scared. I've got to be tough." You know, that kind of guy. So when he said that, he meant it. And that's when I didn't feel safe either. We finally made it back to our cars and stood in our headlights as we loaded our gear. One of us kept watch on the woods while the other one packed his car. We stayed on the phone until we each got home, just talking about how weird that felt, and tried to figure out what we heard and saw. We've both been in forests basically our whole lives, and we've never felt like we were ever in danger like that before. I don't know about my friend, but I haven't been fishing since.
Stay tuned for more disturbing stories. If you've ever dreamt of owning your own store, now is the time to make your dream come true with Shopify. Everything you need to sell is already there from day one. They make it easy for anyone to get started. And it's so easy for a business to grow. All of the time that they would spend trying to set up selling platforms is now theirs when they use Shopify. Shopify makes it easy for the customers too. I saved my credit card info, and yours too, for fast and easy checkout. All I have to do is click the purple button and I'm good to go. I know what I'm buying is legit because big name brands also use Shopify to sell their merchandise online. With Shopify, you can grow as big as household names like Mattel or Gymshark, who are also powered by Shopify. With Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and a real business. So bring your ideas to life with Shopify. I'll be watching. Start your free trial at shopify.com/disturbed. Start your free trial at shopify.com/disturbed. August is the perfect time to hit reset before the autumn rush begins. And honestly, I can't think of a better place to start than my closet. That's why I love shopping at Quince. Every day that I go into the office, I choose to wear something from Quince. I know that I will be comfortable all day long, not to mention I'll look good too. My personal favorites are their cotton tees and their 100% linen trousers. Quince is all about fewer, better pieces. Their clothes are made with premium materials built to last and designed to become the ones you reach for day after day. And it's not just clothing. Quince has become my go-to for everything from hotel-quality bedding to bath essentials to premium cookware and travel must-haves. Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/disturbed. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns, now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed. Welcome back to the show. In our final story, a man discovers that he works at a haunted hospital. Narrated by Micah Halcyon, from an anonymous Reddit user.
I work at a hospital as an RN in oncology. I'm a traveling nurse. Last week, it happened Monday night. I was on my break just chilling in an empty treatment room, playing on my phone when I heard a sound that seemed to be coming from somewhere in the room. I can only describe it as a woman's laughter. At first, I thought it was a video on my phone, but then I heard it again. It was definitely in there with me. I jumped up from where I was sitting and looked around, but like I thought, I was the only one in the room. I got out of there as quickly as I could and finished my break upstairs in the cafeteria. When I went back to work, every time I walked past that treatment room, I heard the laugh. About an hour later, I disrupted another nurse on her break in the staff room and jokingly told her to go to the treatment room. She instantly replied, "Oh no, I won't go in there because it's haunted." I hadn't told anyone what I'd heard. Then, last night, I heard the same laughter 3 different times in 3 different places. It was following me around the ward. The first time, it was right beside me at the nurse's station. I looked over my shoulder and hoped it was one of my coworkers, but they were all working at their computers. The next time I heard it, it sounded like it was coming from down the hallway near a patient's room. I tried telling myself that there were logical explanations to everything that I'd heard, but then there was the 3rd time I heard the laughter. This time was the loudest I'd ever heard it. I was in a patient's room looking at their stats when I heard it loud and clear. Then the PC monitor simultaneously went black for a second before it came back on its own. I asked the patient if they'd heard anything, and they said no. I decided I needed to tell my colleague what I'd been experiencing. She told me that our ward had a long history of hauntings. There were several stories. One time, a HCA felt like someone pulled her hair even though no one was behind her. Someone else had her foot on the desk and it felt like someone grabbed it. And the icing on the cake was apparently that a few staff saw a man walk into the manager's office one time. When they went in after him, he wasn't there, and almost everyone had heard the laughter in the halls. I don't know who she is or what her story was, but she still visits me at least once a shift.
New episodes of Disturbed drop every Thursday. If you love the show, consider becoming a member to access early and ad-free episodes. There you can also access our exclusive monthly series, A Night by the Campfire, where we share the scariest stories we can find from professional authors. A few episodes have been released here for free, so scroll down and listen. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed. If you have a story you'd like to share, email us at mystory@disturbedpodcast.com or post on our subreddit, r/disturbedpodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing and leaving a review. Disturbed is a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more true crime and paranormal shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Sean Rule Hoffman, and Will Pritz. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Bridget Coyne is our executive producer. Until next time, stay safe out there.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.